Protect your DNA. BioPQQ can promote formation of new mitochondria. Infowarsstore.com.
Welcome to the Infowars Nightly News. It is Friday, November 13th, 2015, and I'm Leanne McAdoo. Joining me is Joe Biggs and Jakari Jackson, and we're going to be spending the first half of the show tonight bringing you all the updates on the Paris terrorist attack. But here's what else is coming up on the show.
Tonight, another deadly attack rocks Paris. Then, part 2 of St. Louis's nuclear legacy. And the Pentagon issues an unconfirmed report about the death of Jihadi John. That's next.
Joe Biggs here with Infowars.com. Now we have some breaking news out of Paris, France. First, let me go over here to this Vice News. They were the first ones to report on it that I could see. Earlier, deadly shooting reported in Paris. Now these are the first reports. There are reports of 2 separate gun attacks and 1 explosion in Paris, France. One happening at a Cambodian restaurant and another near a soccer game right there. Well, that's where the explosion happened there. Now we'll go through here, look at some pictures. This is a guy who's on the ground. And as you can see, broken windows out of the cars here and then over here at this restaurant.
Clean, pure drinking water. You can't survive without it. But where do you get it? Alexa Pure Pro is a brand new, groundbreaking, gravity-fed water filtration system that is like no other. The Alexa Pure Pro transforms water from virtually any fresh source into clean, healthy drinking water, pairing the unprecedented superfiltration power of an all-new gravity block core with a hybrid chromatic shell. It removes up to 99.999% of impurities, including bacteria, viruses, fluoride, disinfectants, volatile organic contaminants, and hormones. Filter capacity up to 5,000 gallons. Stainless steel construction, easy assembly, low maintenance. Replacement filters are simple to install. And now, as part of an exclusive limited time introductory offer, you can save $20 off the retail price and get free shipping. This is a limited time offer, so order your unit today and receive free shipping and $20 off. Go to InfoWarsStore.com or call 888-253-3139.
Well, a third deadly attack is taking place in Paris presently. Officials are pretty confident at the moment that this is another terrorist attack. If it is, it will be the worst in France's history. What we know right now, at least 40 people have been killed in these attacks. Hundreds of people have been taken hostage there in a stadium. At least 6 shootings took place in Paris, 3 explosions as well. Reports that those were suicide bombs. And 6 to 8 hostage takers are presently, like I said, holding people hostage in a Bataclan concert hall. So we'll definitely be bringing you more updates as this all comes in. Paris, right now, the entire city is on lockdown. They have instituted a curfew as well. But, you know, guys, what do you think? This is getting pretty intense there, the scene, from what we're seeing.
Yes, Leanne, with more on that, President Holland has actually been evacuated from the stadium, so he was in attendance when this whole thing started. And it's being reported by the New York Times that the shooting occurred near the former headquarters of Charlie Hebdo. So it's very interesting that they have these 2 shootings in a very close proximity.
Yeah, there's actually a Vine out right now on the internet you can find on Twitter or something like that shows someone filming the soccer game inside and you hear the explosion going off. They're saying several killed, Kalashnikov attacks, grenade explosions, multiple attacks at different sites, reports of suicide attacks, hostages taken. And it's such a big event that we feel like we should go out there. So myself, Rob Dew, and Paul Joseph Watson, along with a camera guy, are going to be heading out there to France as soon as possible to get some good updates, have some boots on the ground, a reliable source that, a lot of people look for us for information.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about the whole gun-free zone thing, how that really isn't working out, and how the fact that the president's coming out saying that this was just another senseless killing, completely ignoring the fact that it's a gun-free zone. These people don't have the ability to protect themselves.
One of the shooters yelled, Allah Akbar.
Yeah, and when that happens, you're a soft target. So gun-free zones make you a soft target. People get killed. We need to stop that whole mentality, that liberal logic that less guns means that everyone's going to be safe, completely ignoring the fact that criminals are criminals for a reason. that they don't abide by laws, they're going to shoot anyway. So.
Exactly. All right, and actually now we have Alex Jones breaking in to give us his analysis.
Thank you, Leanne. This is the reason we have Infowars Nightly News, the reason we do the Sunday radio show, not just the weekdays, because news is always breaking. And how many times the last few months have we said, look for theater attacks, look for hostage situations, look for public places to be attacked by Islamic State and their affiliates. They've called for the strikes against Europe. They've called for the strikes against Russia. And the reason we know early on this probably isn't staged, it may be, is that they didn't have perfect scripting already lined up and set for some initiative. They'll try to spin it. But the fact that they're not saying Islamic terror, even questioning that could be involved up front, for the last 30 minutes I've been watching, or the last hour or so, shows me that it's probably a real terror attack, blowback from the radicalization of these Islamic groups, turning them loose. The globalists don't completely control them. They just energize them and then turn them loose on areas, knowing that common sense has been suspended. And then when they shoot down jet airliners, when they blow up airplanes, when they take over theaters and shoot people and attack Garland centers or whatever, or Army recruiting centers, the media will just say it's not Islamic terror. Or if it is Islamic terror, they'll just play it down. So this is being done, again, to take our liberties and take our freedoms. The people doing it are angry because they're being bombed, they're being attacked. They've been turned against, they've been double-crossed. There's a lot of evidence the West is double-crossing ISIS now and at least containing it. And Saudi Arabia maybe even cutting off their jihad army. So it's a lot of double, triple crossing going back and forth. But I'm here to announce that we're going to be covering this extensively. I'm just going to leave it at that for the TV viewers and everybody, but I do intend to send reporters as we speak to cover this. Paul obviously has family in France. His parents live there. They're retired British citizens. He's going to be literally in the tunnel in the next few hours. Under the channel traveling there. So we're going to have live reportage of this. And the reason this is important is you can see the season we're entering. This is not going to be the only attack. We've already seen 6 or 7 in Europe and the United States that they've mulled over. And that, again, that tells you it's real. When they have a terror attack and then they say, oh, we've got a bill to take your freedoms away, and all the scripting is ready and it's all packaged. Bill Clinton, within 25 minutes of OKC, was blaming states trying to pull out of the federal government, get us out of the UN, and Rush Limbaugh on talk radio. So again, there's no scripting on this. They'll try to spin scripting, but this up front doesn't look staged to me. It may be. There's a lot of different criminal groups involved. We've got to analyze and find out. So we don't know yet. But we are going to deploy people there to cover this because, believe me, this is coming here. And there's a war for logic. I said this a few years ago when Benghazi happened. I said, how will they spin it when they shoot down a bunch of jet airliners and take over theaters, I said theaters, and malls, and do all this, when it's people our government protected and bare minimum brought into our countries? They're bringing all these people in, giving them everything free. The Swiss police aren't letting folks in, but they're still catching people. The Swedes are finding weapons caches at these refugee centers. This is a bigger destabilization global chaos program, and I don't know the full enemy's operation, but I'm telling you, big stuff's about to happen because here's the deal. Every time they have an economic collapse or an economic downturn, they have a terror attack right when it starts to kind of get everybody together and to divert them onto that. And all the stars are aligning for big military events with Russia, with China, in the Middle East, with the economy. A lot of things are aligning right now. And so that's why this comes at such a key point that we know France is actually funding the jihadis, engaged in all this behavior, and now it blows back against them because they're using the jihadis to overflow the country and basically balkanize it. And the jihadis are like an army of the socialists. So the socialists will say, capitulate to us, give us more freedoms, give us more money, give us more taxes, and we'll protect you. We've got to point out, wait a minute, because the mainstream media won't do this. You're the very government media that went along with this and brought these people in. 80% of the folks coming in, according to the UN, are military-age men. Most of their passports are fake. I can't even believe this, and I'm going to apologize right now to some of the folks at WorldNet Daily, some of the Christian fundamentalists, and even Glenn Beck. And he's been wrong about a lot. Maybe he's not wrong. I remember them talking about caliphates 5-6 years ago and talking about secret invasion plans, and they're going to turn us over to the radical Muslims, and I just didn't believe that. Ladies and gentlemen, the whole Middle Eastern plan was to bring the Middle East down, bring Iraq down, put Saudi Arabia in control, let them take over everything, then flood Europe, and basically politically correct, checkmate everyone into submitting to them. Are you guys getting me loud and clear? I heard a glitch.
Absolutely, Alex. This is pretty dire. I think you're spot on with your analysis.
Well, thank you. I mean, I wish I wasn't spot on with it. And I want to get your analysis and all of this. We'll have live coverage tomorrow, special reportage of this, because you got 100 people, if you just joined us, held hostage. You got 30-something dead. And you clearly, again, basically, the New World Order 100 years ago began funding radical Islam. British intelligence set up what's currently the New World Order. And it's a covert British empire. It's not blaming the British. It's just that's the structure that it took on. They created Saudi Arabia. They had them take over the whole Middle East before. They lost some of it. They've been promised it back. But I'm telling you, these Saudis are so corrupt and so crazy. They're being used by criminal elites to menace the West. And I think this has gone far beyond just staging terror attacks to take American liberty. There's been a deal made with them for much of the world. And there's been a deal made, and now they're saying, like they told Russia a few years ago at the Olympics, you do what we say or we'll blow up your Olympics. This is what's going on. And Russia backed off Syria for a few years just because of that. I mean, this is the real deal. This is our sick government. Our sick government thinking we're so stupid, they bring in these terrorists, let them attack us, and then take our liberties to supposedly respond to it. So, and Joe agreed with me when he was in combat, talking about when they start attacking, it comes in clusters. There's reports of other attacks happening.
Yeah, there's actually some other attacks ongoing right now.
Right. Yeah, this is still a live situation, and there are multiple attacks still taking place. So,
well, also some breaking news right now. President Hollande of France has declared that they are shutting down the borders in order to capture the terrorists who are out there that they're still trying to catch. So they're not allowing anybody to leave.
Borders to begin with, and by the way, that's his cover. He was criticized on Monday for closing the borders until January 1st to stop radicals from coming in for the UN summit, climate summit coming up. Now he's claiming, see how they just did that? Now he's claiming they're doing it now because of this. There's a big story right there. Just like they ordered naked body scanners 1 year before the underwear bomber. 1 year before. They were coming into delivery that January, so they staged the underwear bombing to legitimize the machines that were already ordered a year before. I mean, this is so sick. They want a lockdown over there to keep press and other people out of this world government summit that's coming up. It doesn't mean they staged the attack, but they let these jihadis in to do this. Now, we'll see if it's jihadis. I've been looking since this broke. I mean, is anyone even speculating in mainstream media who would do this? Who did theater takeovers in Russia? Who did theater takeovers in Chechnya? Who's done theater takeovers all over the Middle East? Who does this? Who just attacked France 4 times in the last year? Who just blew up Hebdo? Joe Biggs, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely a horrible situation that's unfolding in Paris right now. And I do agree with the fact that you said when there's an attack like this, there's usually going to be another attack sitting there waiting to happen. And they do that to draw attention to a certain area, so everyone's eyes are in one location. And then the strategy is to then go hit other areas. So like you said, you're going to be sending people out there. We're going to get some great coverage out there on the ground and keep people informed on what's going on. This is a horrible event that's taken place today.
Right.
A lot of people have lost their lives, and we said this time and time again. The gun-free zones are kill zones.
We need to pray that this evil be broken, and the scum in that building just everything they do. I hope it falls apart because this is sick.
Yeah, completely.
It is, and we do have reports that one of the shooters did yell out "Allah Akbar" before, terrorizing and attacking these people. So they're pretty clear at this point, pretty confident calling this a terrorist attack.
Well, I want to be clear. Our government is good overall. Our military are great people. Our police are great people. Our citizens are great people. It's very sophisticated. It's like a Spectre movie, but it's all come out now. We've been proven right on this. The 28 pages, all of it. There are criminal globalists who are funding radical jihadists and not letting our government actually go after them. Again, we get attacked on 9/11. Do we go after where the supposed hijackers came from, Saudi Arabia? No, we don't. No. That's not what we have. We have them coming after and going after in a big, huge way Iraq, which was the enemy of Saudi Arabia. And it's the same deal. This is global domination. These are Saudi Arabian mind control forces, and they're not mind controlled with drugs and flashing lights. They're culturally brought up. They find the people that'll do it. They wind them up. They arm them through subsidiaries, and they attack. And that's who's behind this in the past. Saudi Arabia has said they will attack anybody that tries to stop their ISIS forces that are taking over. Okay? They have said that. And it does appear, and I was getting ready to talk about this week, I talked about some on air, that there are some real airstrikes against ISIS now, and that and that some of these groups are targeting them. And so it looks like the West may be turning against ISIS because they don't want to look bad, with what's happening with Russia. This is the fog of war. The globalists have strategies that are so Machiavellian, they don't even know what's going to happen next. They're waiting and gauging what's going to unfold. So I'm going to turn the analysis back over to you guys. I would suggest you guys come back after the news tonight, regroup if you want to go after the tape show, and do some live analysis if Biggs or somebody wants to do that. For 30 minutes, an hour after, once we know more. We go live some nights, like during debates. Other nights we tape right before the shows. We have more clips in there and have it more professional. But we will be covering all this throughout the weekend, and we'll also be covering it this Sunday, 4 to 6 p.m. Central. And great job, Leanne, and of course Joe Biggs and everybody else. And pray for our crew that is going to be, obviously I'm not going to say who yet for security reasons, that are going to be inside the situation in the next 24 to 48 hours. But we have our people on the move. Watson is getting up in a few hours and rolling out. And so just stay with us, ladies and gentlemen. God bless you all. But we cannot let them control the narrative. We have to point out that they left our borders open. They brought these people in. So even if they're not running them, which they may be, that they are behind it. All right, folks, let's fight for freedom. Let's do it. Let's not let the globalists use radical Islam as the sword to destroy the West.
Thank you, Alex Jones. Well, there is nothing to indicate that there's a threat to any U.S. cities at the moment. But of course, immediate suspicion is turning to these so-called returnees, people who have traveled to Syria and Iraq and who are now just walking through those borders back into Paris, France. So we'll have more on that later, and we'll be right back after this.
Like we've said time and time again here at Infowars.com, gun-free zones are kill zones. I mean, there's no other way around it. When you have an armed society, when you look at these other countries where everyone is armed, where people join the militias at a young age, you don't have high crime rates. You don't have things like that happening because criminals are going to see that as a hard target. Paris, France is a soft target. You're not allowed to be able to do that stuff. That's why we as Americans cannot take for granted the Second Amendment. That gives us the right to protect ourselves, to protect our property, our family, our loved ones, all of that. Our government is trying to take that away all the time. They're always trying to infringe upon it and wipe that out. They don't want it. They don't want you to have that ability. And if that ever happens here in America, this is the kind of stuff you're going to start seeing, because ISIS is going to see that. All these enemies that we have are going to see that, hey, we can't defend ourselves. When seconds count, police, people like that are supposed to be out there to help you, it takes them minutes to get out there. By then, there's already a body count. And like I said, 18 people killed and many wounded. That number will drop a whole lot when you have people out there that can stop that situation. When you have concealed carry people, open carry, they see something like that, they're going to go after that target and take it out, and you're going to have far less numbers than 18. That's completely ridiculous. And yet our government wants to go around and telling you that, no, we need less guns, we don't need this. Once we take the guns away, no one will have them and there'll be no more crime, which is completely and totally ridiculous, because criminals are criminals for a reason. They don't abide by laws, and they will get the weapons anyway by any means necessary through drug trades, sells. They can get it on the black market. They'll figure out a way to get it, and they'll use it to inflict harm on soft targets because you don't have that right.
Clean, pure drinking water. You can't survive without it. But where do you get it? Alexa Pure Pro is a brand new, groundbreaking, gravity-fed water filtration system that is like no other. The Alexa Pure Pro transforms water from virtually any fresh source into clean, healthy drinking water, pairing the unprecedented superfiltration power of an all-new gravity block core with a hybrid chromatic shell. It removes up to 99.999% of impurities, including bacteria, viruses, fluoride, disinfectants, volatile organic contaminants, and hormones. Filter capacity up to 5,000 gallons. Stainless steel construction. Easy assembly. Low maintenance. Replacement filters are simple to install. And now, as part of an exclusive limited time introductory offer, you can save $20 off the retail price and get free shipping. This is a limited time offer, so order your unit today and receive free shipping and $20 off. Go to InfoWarsStore.com or call 888-253-3139. The knowledge of the ancients, tried and true, trusted herbs and extracts fused with the latest nutraceutical science. Introducing the all-new Ancient Defense Herbal Immunity Blend, crafted with over 14 key ancient herbs and extracts to supercharge and prepare your body for what experts admit is the most dangerous season of the year. We have rejected hundreds of other formulations in our quest to bring you what is simply the most powerful and comprehensive proprietary formula that we have ever created in the realm of herbal immunity. For the last 2 years, our team has been working with top doctors, nutritionists, and chemists to develop the ultimate nutraceutical formulation. Experience the benefits of combining over 14 ancient herbs and extracts with exciting new advances in nutraceutical science. Now is the time to secure Ancient Defense for you and your family. Visit ancientdefense.com or call 888-253-3139. That's ancientdefense.com. Introducing Secret 12, the new Infowars Life Vitamin B12 formulation. Most forms of vitamin B12 are highly processed and synthetic and could not be properly absorbed by the body. That's why for real results, so many are having to turn to painful B12 injections, which are known to have higher absorption rates. Now, InfoWarsLife.com is excited to announce that we can bring you our most bioactive, powerful form of B12 that has been developed with our exclusive perfected process. Secret 12 is a binary of nutramedical grade, bioavailable coenzyme forms of B12, methylcobalamin, the same kind used in B12 injections, and adenosylcobalamin. Secret 12 is simply taken by mouth, right on the tongue, and then swallowed. No needles, no injections. Don't take my word for it. Try it for yourself. Discover the secret. Secret 12. Secure your revolutionary Secret 12 formula right now at InfoWarsLife.com or call 888-253-3139.
Welcome back. We are talking about the terror attacks that are going on in Paris. The situation on the ground is still developing, but at least 60 people have been killed. France has declared a state of emergency. They've actually shut down the border. Now, Joe, you were actually speaking about that before the break. Tell us a little bit more.
Yeah, so far the president has ordered the borders to be shut down. Also, there is a report that he has ordered the military to now be deployed into Paris. So things are going to be getting crazy. They're trying to get these terrorists to have these hostages inside the theater. Right now, I just got a report about a minute ago saying that police have started storming into that theater and they are trying to find these guys. So, you know, prayers for the people who are trapped in there right now, being held hostage. Hopefully that everything can go smoothly and these cops can get these guys. But, you know, like I said, our prayers are out there. This is a sad day. Right.
And now, obviously, the city is on lockdown. They're instituting a curfew there. And, of course, the situation is still developing, so we don't know exactly why this has taken place. We haven't found any sort of a manifesto or anything like that. But we did, you know, get reports today. Jihadi John supposedly was killed. Obviously, he was a ISIS celebrity there. I mean, obviously, it's total speculation, but I mean, any ties there, or
is this blowback from that happening?
Completely random, or I don't know.
Like we said, Paris is a soft target. They're not allowing their citizens to do this kind of stuff. So this is why Americans need to protect the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment protects you. You need to fight for that every day. Because there's people around this country, around this world, around the world, I should say, that don't have that ability. Right. And it's sad when something like this happens that they can't stand up, they can't defend themselves, they can't. These numbers are so high, 60 killed, and the numbers keep going up. If there was people out there with concealed carry, open carry, whatever it may be, on the ground, you would have a lot less numbers. and this stuff could stop quicker.
Well, there's the absolute lunacy as well of having open borders and welcoming them in from these places, knowing that they're mostly military-aged men. It's not women and children from these crisis areas, that they are literally the exact same age group that ISIS says we are going to be flooding your countries and terrorizing you.
See, our government needs to look at this, all right? All these countries that have their borders wide open, this is the kind of stuff that's happening. This is what's going to happen. If we don't open our eyes, if the government, the American, bigwigs in Washington don't do something, this is going to happen here.
This is what they want.
Stories, because remember after some of our more recent shootings here in this country, Obama comes out, he says, these attacks don't happen in other countries, even though we had Charlie Hebdo right before then, and now we have this attack as well. And they always use this notion that if you get rid of the guns or if you ban the guns, the criminals are going to give up the guns. Well, go ask the people in Chicago.
Or
all
Australia.
the gangsters and everybody else still has firearms to go and terrorize the public. But when you have these soft targets, as Joe is talking about, it makes them wide open. Even if you do have a shooting like happened here in Dallas, somebody was able to fight back against the people who came in there and tried to start up some ruckus.
Right, because you're saying, why France? I mean, what did they do to ISIS, the Middle East? I mean, there's other countries, so they are just soft targets.
It's like middle school, elementary. You get the big kid, he picks on the little kid because he can't do anything.
Right.
And he does it purely out of the fact that he gets off on it. These guys are hardened criminals. They're psychotic. Just like Paul Joseph Watson called them, bloodthirsty psychopaths. That's what they are. And we have to treat them that way. We need to lock these borders down. We need to have stricter rules. We need to look at the people who are coming in. When you open your borders, when you let people flood in, you're going to get bad people. It's not saying that all immigrants, all migrants, whatever you want to call them, whatever politically correct term you want to use, it doesn't mean that all of them are bad. But when you have that open access, bad people will come in and do bad things because that's how they are wired.
Right, and that's what they've been warning, is that this isn't even, you haven't even seen the beginning of it. This is just the tip of the iceberg with this attack, and who knows how long they've been planning this, and if this supposed kill of Jihadi John, if this was something in retaliation or just to terrorize people. That's what they want. They want these countries to be terrorized.
There's sleeper cells right now in this country. There are sleeper cells right now who are waiting to do something like this, waiting on the call, waiting on some guy over there across the pond to go, hey, carry this out. Your time has come. Let's do this. Do this for Allah. Put that bomb on your chest. Do whatever. People take so many things for granted in our country. Wake up. Open your eyes. This will happen here if you don't make some changes.
Right. And then, of course, we've got another story from Paul Joseph Watson today about migrants there in the Netherlands who are sleeping in the street in protest of the fact that they haven't been accommodated with televisions in their rooms, and that all they're given is a bed and a roof over their head and maybe a little fridge to the side. And they're complaining about that. Meanwhile, it's costing the Netherlands $36,000 per asylum seeker to take care of them. And so these are not, like I said, these are not mothers and their children who are fleeing Syria. These are college-age men.
Well, it's like last year with the whole, influx of people coming through the border. Well, they're women and children. We went out to the borders. I didn't see tons of children. I mean, I saw some, but most of them were tatted up, gang-looking dudes who were coming over here. I doubt they're trying to go out and get a job and start afresh and a life or something like that. No, a lot of these guys are getting recruited into MS-13 gangs.
Well, some of them are MS-13.
Yeah, a lot of them are.
That's because the people who do encounter Border Patrol or the ICE agents, they know they're MS-13 because they have MS-13 tattoos on them.
Right.
Don't we have enough crime and gangs here that we don't need to import people? Of course, if people want to come through a legal, proper channel, mothers, children, that's fine, but we don't need to import crime into the country.
No, absolutely. And that's what I'm saying, is just this total lunacy of having these open borders, seeing hundreds of thousands of people flooding these countries, coming from the Islamic countries that do not like the Western way of life, knowing they're not going to assimilate into the culture that they're going into, and being kind of angry. And then, of course, you're going to have your racism and your fear already being stoked in these countries as well, causing this backlash and this fight. It's just so frightening. I mean, I think about the small towns where there's 300 people in the town, and now there's 1,000 people from another country that are, I mean, you're done. The history of your town is completely done.
I mean, the mainstream media doesn't even report on the fact that, last year, Even in Falfurrias, Texas, they're finding prayer rugs, they're finding Arabic money, they're finding all this stuff. We know what's happening. These guys are being imported in here, and they're sitting around and they're waiting to do something.
Why is there such a stigma with being able to talk about Islamic radical Islamism?
Why can't they just say it?
Why can't they say this was an Islamic terrorist attack?
It goes against their agenda. I mean, we have a president who's in bed with a Muslim Brotherhood. I mean, we have a president who supports La Raza, the race. It just doesn't really care. You know, the Clintons, they don't care. They've come out and said, we support these guys. We fund them. We give them money. We arm them.
We created them.
You know,
that's what she said.
It's their Dr. Frankenstein. ISIS is Frankenstein. This guy is a monster. Has gotten completely and totally out of control. You have a plane that just went down not too long ago, whatever, the Russian plane. There's all this stuff going on. It's starting to happen. They're gaining momentum. And meanwhile, our country, our government wants to try to enforce stricter gun laws. They want to take away our abilities to protect ourselves. They want to open the borders. They want to allow the same stuff that's happening in France to happen here, so they can impose a martial law, so they can have a bigger police state, so you can have tanks driving up and down the road everywhere, arming these, you know, military guys to the teeth. I don't want to live in a world like that.
How do you think they're going to be able to convince the American people to give up their guns when things like this keep happening and when people see that they cannot protect themselves?
Well, they always use situations like this. They say, well, those guys didn't have guns, we wouldn't have these shootings. And a lot of people don't make that correlation that these guys are criminals. They're not going to give up their guns.
The military didn't sell them the guns.
If ISIS came here and did that stuff, they'd sell that same line. If they didn't have guns, they wouldn't have done this. Well, if you had a gun, you could defend yourself. Meanwhile, like you said, we're giving these guys the guns, the grenades, airdropping grenades to these guys, which they use against people. And then people say that, well, a crate full of grenades isn't going to stop the U.S. military. Yeah, it's probably not, but it's going to kill a whole village full of innocent people.
The sign on the recruiting station, the Armed Forces Service Station in Chattanooga, said that this is a gun-free zone.
Right.
That guy, I guess, didn't read the sign because he still was able to kill people. Criminals don't read that. They don't care.
No, they absolutely
don't. People need to be angry and go, hey, enough is enough. You guys need to do something. This is ridiculous.
It absolutely is. And it is frightening. And unfortunately, I feel like the numbers are going to rise. Like I said, the situation on the ground is still ongoing. We do have word that several of the hostages have been released, but there is still an ongoing hostage situation. We don't know much about the attackers at this moment in time, but we'll be keeping you updated with everything. Stay tuned to Infowars.com, and we'll be right back after this.
Dr. Group joins us for the balance of this hour to talk about solutions. We have them up every couple of weeks. We have been trying to launch this for the last year. We got all of the organic ingredients to do it, and we've come up with a new Living Defense harmful organism cleansing dietary supplement, and it is extremely affordable. It is brimming with the capsules, and the way I read the facts, this could do a cleanse for really a family of 4 or 5 people. Dr. Group, let's just get into the product now and then into parasites themselves, what folks really want to hear about in the next segment. But thank you for developing this for InfoWarsLife.com. Tell us about Living Defense and why it's so special.
Well, it's really special because it's part of the problem that we're dealing with today. When the earth becomes sick and the earth soils become acidic and the internal bodies become acidic because of all the toxic food in the air and the beverages that people are consuming, it sets up an environment that's ripe for harmful organisms to live, either on the earth. That's why a lot of the plants are infested with harmful organisms, or inside the body. And years ago, we linked every single disease process to an overgrowth of organisms in the body. And when people hear the word parasite, which the FDA does not like us to use, they actually came down on us and made us take the word parasite off everywhere, because we were exposing what the globalists have been doing, spreading these parasites and creating this environment, which is great for them to live in for years and years and years, because they know they drain us of energy, they make us sick. So we had to actually change the word parasite to harmful organism. And when we talk about harmful organisms, it's The definition, actually, the medical definition of parasite is any harmful organism that lives off of a host mechanism. Most people just think parasites are worms, but harmful organisms are bacteria, viruses that you can get through flu shots, funguses, yeast. We literally have an epidemic going on right now with molds and fungus and yeast living in everybody's body.
This is something when I heard about over a decade ago, I didn't really believe. I did one of these cleanses or invasive organism or harmful organism cleanses. It really hurt a lot, but it did do a lot. With this was not painful like some other cleanses I've done. The product is available at InfoWarsLife.com. I've always read and heard that just one of the ingredients, black walnuts, is really good at flushing parasites, and that, animals out in the fields eat them and stuff to naturally do this. We do cleanses on our dogs, our cats, our horses, our cows. Why not us?
Well, because they don't want you to know about that you need to do a parasite or a harmful organism cleanse. That's the thing. It's so secretive. And when we were doing our research into the root cause of every single disease, there's been plenty of proof.
The statistics are clear. 9 out of 10 people are infested with harmful organisms like parasites. Parasites can be transmitted by people, pets, food, and the environment, and so many other sources. Once parasites have made it inside your body, they steal your nutrients and release toxic waste. They use the bathroom inside of you. It's time to start eliminating toxic and harmful organisms from your body. Introducing Living Defense, the new harmful organism cleanser by InfoWarsLife.com. Living Defense uses wild-crafted organic herbs to help naturally cleanse harmful organisms from the body. We are expected to sell out of this very, very quickly. This is our limited first-time run. So visit InfoWarsLife.com today to try Living Defense today while supplies last.